Come and join me as I continue my hunt for gold and history with my prospecting buddy Ole. We head further into the Western Australian bush south of Laverton, finding gold, ghosts and relics of the past. If you've ever wondered about the scale of mining in Western Australia, check this out. I am filming the horizon north to south, just on last light. Here is a drone shot from this morning. I started filming east and then move across to the north and then through to the south. Looks like there's nothing much out there, right? We are about 80k out of Laverton and we only passed by one large mine on the way here. You can guess our surprise when the horizon lit up with mines as I filmed the horizon north to south. Just how many mines are out there? Tiny bit. There's still the main signals there. It's interesting. I didn't believe it. While I was out detecting, I came across a bit of an old rubbish dump. I picked up this perfect little pot lid, partially buried in between some bushes. It gave me an idea, so I broke out the manticore and had a look around. Let's have a look at what we found today. I cleaned this up a little bit. There's a little button. I'm not sure what it's made of. I think it says XL's stop, or XL stop, or XL's top. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Rusty old screw, probably cast iron ring nut, which is why it came up as non-ferrous, I suppose. Looks like a little brass eyelet. An old fork. Old fork. Someone's eating their meal with that. While they're out here mining. This was on the surface, but a small horseshoe. I reckon that's off a donkey, don't you? That's pretty small. It fits in the palm of my hand easily. That's pretty small. And a buckle. A buckle of someone's braces or pants or whatever. So, okay. You probably noticed I'm not an expert with the Manticore, but I'm sort of learning. As we go. But good fun. It's good. I love looking for the old relics as well, and it breaks up the gold prospecting a little bit too. Go back this afternoon with renewed energy. Okay. On the way back to camp for lunch, I noticed this lying on the ground. It's a teaspoon, was what I thought were silver hallmarks. Turns out they are a registered maker's mark, so they are only silver plated, not sterling silver. Anyhow, a nice relic from another age. This little specie was difficult to recover, but I got it in the end though. We stayed here for another couple of days, exploring further out, but with no luck. Time was running out for Ole, as he had to be back in Perth soon to meet a mate of his coming from overseas. So we packed up and headed to Laverton, home base for the next few days. I had brought my gold tally up to 11 pieces for the trip so far. Not great, but I was enjoying this lifestyle. Laverton is a great little town, perched on the western edge of the Great Victoria Desert. It became one of my favourite little bush towns over the next few days, and I made a short video of the town, which I will put a link to in the description. I recommend you watch that if you are coming this way, but I think the Visitor Centre is a must. The friendliest people, the Explorers Hall of Fame is excellent, and Lorinda, Brianna, Emily and the other staff and volunteers there will help you out with your Great Central Road permits if you're heading that way. Lorinda introduced me to Pat Hill, her father and president or mayor of the local shire, the second biggest council area in Australia. Pat and his auntie Robin showed us around the town and adjacent areas while we were there. Their families have been here for many generations and they are proud of their town. They showed me around Birdville and I loved the living history they shared with me. Unfortunately, the day was cold and very windy, which played havoc with the sound. So let me tell Pat's story of the Birdville Cemetery. The register in the Leonora Mines Department has listed only one death out of 32 people buried here as non-traumatic. That was a baby. This was the most remote and wildest of the gold towns, and as Pat described it, all but one person here died with their boots on.
This is the Birdville cricket pitch. There's also the Ida H cricket pitch. There's the Euro cricket pitch, Gladiator and Lansfield. They all had crickets like this. So obviously used to have round robin, cricket games, and there's also at the Ida H there's old push bike race tracks where they had push bike races as well.
Yeah.
So they would have been interested in those days.
Oh,
We're at the Merolda House or Birdville homestead, the pastoral station. Went from mining into the pastoral station, and one of the items that the pastoral station used to do is they never had air conditioners then, and they used to make what they call cool houses, where they put spinifex in between wire like this as it is here, and they'd have water trickling down around the top with the water going through it and the breeze blowing through it, would be inside a natural evaporative air conditioner, and they used to work beautiful, absolutely cool it down really good.
We met Peter and Sue, the friendly caretakers of the old Wendara mine just north of Laverton. They kindly invited us in for a look around the old nickel mine. Just a few metres to to my right was where the first drill hole was put down, and they found a good ore body of concentration of nickel and copper. This is right here, for those of you that might remember, is where the Poseidon nickel boom started, and the shares went from something like about 20 cents or something up to about $280 just in a matter of weeks. Unfortunately, they went down almost as quickly. It was later pulled apart in a Senate inquiry, changed Australia's legislation about the stock exchange, the Australian Securities Commission. They thought there may have been some leakage of information, so people were jumping on the shares before, and they were actually put on the market. And some people also said that the amount of nickel that was found wasn't quite consistent with what they actually did eventually get out of it. But anyway, whatever the story, this place changed the law in Australia about how the stock exchange worked, and the Australian Securities Commission was introduced, and it started right here in 1969.
Dave, in end of 93, early 94, I had the privilege of relieving a girl on about 6 weeks, 2 months holiday to do her job in this engine room. And my job, or her job, that I relieved, I'd never done anything like it before, but it was changing the oils in all the centrifuges and engines and polishing the floor. That was done every day, and I loved every minute of it.
Peter and Sue live in what used to be the Administration, Mess and Accommodation Centre. I didn't film it as it is their home. Imagine a home with about 30 bedrooms. Thanks guys for showing us around. We said our goodbyes to Ole, who is heading off for Perth. We're planning to catch up in the new year, so safe travels, mate. Alright, let's get back to the prospecting. I had a look around the sites near Laverton. Unfortunately, the weather came in again, which restricted the prospecting time. I did find one more piece, bringing my tally to 12 nuggets at about 2.5 grams. Not ideal, but I still found gold. There is so much to explore around Laverton, and I just don't have time to see it all on this trip. Anyway, that gives me a reason to come back one day. But let me leave you with one location that I'll never forget. I'm out at Red Flag Well, southwest of Laverton, and I think I've just brought you to one of the eeriest stories that I've heard in the goldfield so far. Just behind me here lies the bodies of Alexander MacDonald and Sophie Chapman, who died on the 19th of May 1896 when the roof collapsed on a sort of partial dugout that Sophie's husband Arthur had built to give her a bit more shade and relief during the hot days here. Well, that's Arthur's story. Some 30 years later, another person who lived here wrote a poem. I think it goes for about 40 verses, but he actually suggests that Sophie and Alexander were lovers, and that the collapse of the roof that killed them was orchestrated by Sophie's husband Arthur. Now, we'll never know which story is true, but allegedly all around here at night ghosts appear of a young couple singing. Strange noises come from the windmill across the other side of the creek, and people think it's the ghosts of these two young people. And my understanding is there has been numerous sightings by many people. Don't know whether you believe it or not. but it is a good story.
What I always wanted, I could never have it. Gone before I grabbed it, over before it started. No, I could never have it.
What I always dreamed of, I could always see us. Shadows in the distance, watching from the fences. But I could never have it.
Now the space between us laughs at all our hopes and dreams. Was I a fool for my beliefs?
My time stands still
While you're dancing in the darkness, you think we should go our separate ways, but I think
you're worth the wait.
worth the wait.
Worth the wait.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Whoa! Let's just back up a bit. I asked someone to have a look at the final edit before I uploaded it. While they were watching it, they said, "Dave, have you seen the man in this?" There can't be. I was the only one there. Well, they said, it surely looks like there's somebody there. Well, let's take a closer look. A person? No, surely not. What do you think? This place was really eerie. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you join me on the next part of my trip as I tackle the Great Central Road, 1100 kilometres of outback adventure where you're never quite sure what's coming next. I'll see you then.